forfeit the game. Stop the talk show, product of what you're taught to know. Forfeit the game, cause tomorrow, when it's all done, you reap what you sow.
I look at you while taking pleasure in the awful things you put me through. You take away if I give in. My life, my pride is broken. You have to think you're never wrong. You live what you love. You have to act like you're someone. You live what you love. You want someone to hurt like you.
Welcome back to the Helicopter Tutorials, the gunner's seat. Nothing pisses me off more than a gunner that couldn't shoot a soda can off the fence with a shotgun from 5 feet away. Honestly though, I've always sympathized with my gunners. I've always thought it was a pretty boring role in the game. However, after spending over 20 hours in the gunner's seat to make this movie, I've changed my point of view. The gunner's seat is not only the most profitable position in the game, I think now it is one of the funnest. It is therefore my goal to relate to you this joy, as well as the success I have found in the gunner's seat. To the lesson proper. What you need to know to be the best gunner. Mow down the ground troops, annihilate armor, destroy enemy choppers, basically kill everything that moves. Pay attention and you will get better. In this lesson we will address TV-guided missiles, both how to aim and when to use them. We'll address the machine gun, how to kill ground troops and what strategies to use against other vehicles, as well as a variety of other strategies. Remember, watching the lesson doesn't make you instantly better. It takes practice and putting the things you learn into action. Otherwise, you're just watching some video. Everyone knows that the gunner has two main weapons. What everyone doesn't know, in fact most people don't know, is which weapon to use when, and more importantly, what to shoot first. Let's start with the latter. What to shoot first. You may feel different based on your experience. Do what works for you. This is the order that I think is most appropriate based on the most lethal with the most likelihood of killing you. First of all, anti-air vehicles. Both anti-air vehicles and the Essex. So if you are in either one of those situations and you have anything else shooting at you, shoot those out first. Second, IGLAs. Third, tanks. Fourth, Humvees and DPVs. And fifth, APCs. Now, Black Hawks and attack choppers are different. Your pilot should get elevation, clear the tanks, Humvees, DPCs, and APCs, flare away from all anti-air, and then worry about the air. IGLAs and AA vehicles should be avoided before you begin to focus on the air. And now, what weapon to use? When? TV-guided missiles are for vehicles and stationary weapons only. I cannot stress this enough. Wasting your time, effort, and missiles on individual ground troops is simply not worth it. Trust me, I've seen co-pilot after co-pilot waste a TV-guided missile on an individual person, then I have to get up and line up for a tank and it's not loaded. Or they just completely miss the ground troop because the TV-guided missile's too hard to accurately aim at a ground troop. Please, take my advice for this. TV-guided missiles should be reserved for vehicles and stationary weapons only. The machine gun should be used against all ground troops in every situation. Also, it should be used after a first miss against Humvees, DPCs, enemy choppers, and a smoking APC or AA vehicles. Don't waste your time shooting at tanks. Reload your TV missile and aim again. Now, as far as chopper goes, what you want to do is you want to completely shoot your machine gun until it's completely red, and then line up a TV guided missile again, and just keep doing that until the enemy chopper's down. That's the most effective way I've found to take out enemy choppers. Now that you know which weapon to use when and what to aim at first, let's talk about how to use each weapon. Let's start with the machine gun. It's more simple in its use. However, I feel it is the most underused weapon in Battlefield 2. Used correctly, you can quickly kill 60+ ground troops, Humvees, choppers, and even armored vehicles like APCs and AAs. General rules. There's 5-6 general rules of using the machine gun. First, do your best to never overheat. It wastes your time and it takes way too much time to recover once you have overheated. Second, shoot in bursts and in lines. If you shoot in bursts, you will not only prevent your craft from overheating, your machine gun from overheating, but you'll also increase your accuracy, as well as when you shoot in lines, you'll increase your chance of accuracy. Whether it's vertical or horizontal lines, whichever style, or even circles, but you don't want to just try to shoot in bursts in just one particular area. Shoot in a line and kind of drag it across in front of them and behind them, and usually it'll hit them that way. Number 3, look all around. Unlike the TV, your range is vastly increased with machine gun. It allows you to spot enemy choppers, enemy tanks, whatever you need to spot. Look all around and spot those vehicles for your co-pilot. Number 4, if you can identify an AT soldier, try to take them out before taking out, say, a medic or a sniper. Sometimes you're able to identify them, in which case you definitely want to try to take them out first. Number 5, focus the majority of your attention to straight ahead of you. Remember, your co-pilot doesn't have the vast majority of the range that you have. So after you're done looking around to see if there's any threats, you want to keep your focus straight ahead of you, because that's what your pilot is lining you up for. Don't spend a lot of your time looking around. And 6, switch camera views when necessary. You'll see in a lot of the footage that I use that after a while I have to switch camera views from the cockpit view to outside view in order to get a better look at the soldiers, and this is a real key in the game. Finally, the TV guided missile, the most powerful and yet most complicated of all weapons of BF2. Once you harness its power, you will truly be a force to be reckoned with. This is how you can practice on your own. The TV guided missiles are called guided missiles because you can guide them. It takes a lot of practice, and I recommend at least an hour on an empty server to understand the basic principles. There are 2 parts to the TV missile. There's the basic concept, and then there's a more advanced concept. The basic concept is firing the TV guided missile. Press your secondary weapon key. For me, that's the right mouse button. That will switch you to from the machine gun to the TV. Now you press your fire key when you have aligned the crosshairs to the target on your screen. While the missile is in motion, guide it to the sweet spot on your target. I'll tell you more about what the sweet spot is in the advanced concept. You guide it to the sweet spot on your target by clicking the fire button after it is corrected. Continue to correct until you are aligned. Do most of your correcting early, as it becomes harder to maneuver as you get to a closer range. Now to the advanced concept. This is the hardest concept for people to grasp, and that is different people have to aim at different spots to get the same effect. For example, I have to aim at the rear of a vehicle to get a hit. This is due to the fact that my processor sees the vehicles a full second worth of motion before the server sees my shot on that vehicle. Like I said, unless you've taken advanced networking in college, it's too complicated of a concept for most people. Suffice it to say, you need to find out where the sweet spot is for you. On a moving vehicle, that will most likely be the back 1/3 of the vehicle. This seems counterintuitive to most people who want to lead the target by aiming at the front half of it, and then wonder why they always miss. However, it's different for everyone. A big thanks to Markimus, who flew me around for most of this footage that you see here, and probably the best pilot I've ever flown with. Again, everybody, I really appreciate all the positive feedback, and I do really hope that it helps. I probably won't be making any more films for a while, though. I'm just going to enjoy playing the game, and I'll see you out there.